Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got it, eh? Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. Startups get the party, startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech, you know we got it, eh?
And welcome back to the Tacos and Tech podcast. I'm your host, Neal Bloom, and I'm thrilled to have on Vikrant Bodalia, Vice President of Technology from ASM Global. Hey, Vikrant, thanks for being on the pod.
Hey Neil, how are you?
I'm doing great. It is good to have you on here. Good to spend some time with you.
Absolutely.
And good to get to know a little bit of your story, which really is the story of where sports, hospitality, and technology come together. Which anyone who, majority of our listeners who are sports fans and technologists, we've all seen it apparent that what has happened to the viewership and what's it like to experience sport over the last 20, 30 years. But you've been on the back end enabling a lot of different experiences to
Yep.
change through multiple sports. We're talking basketball, hockey, football, and all the stuff about it. So I'm excited for this conversation. Do you want to give us a quick high level of what ASM Global is, and then we'll dive into it?
Absolutely. So I currently work for a company named ASM Global slash Legends. We are a major venue management operator company. We have many venues all across the world that we manage day-to-day operations from finance, security, guest experience, technology. And that's where my role comes into play for Allegiant Stadium specifically, where we oversee and manage all technical operations for the stadium that falls under my purview, is the background of my company and what we do at Allegiant Stadium.
Amazing. Well, we'll dive into that because obviously it's one of the newest stadiums. So therefore we're going to want to know, all the cool
Absolutely.
tech that goes into it. But I want to dive way back into this. How did you actually find yourself into this field? I would imagine a bit ago technology wasn't as prevalent,
Yep.
or maybe it was, and therefore was the big pull and the need there. Like, take us back to a young
Yeah,
Vikrant.
no. I started my career early, back in 2006, 7, 8 timeframe, where I used to be a help desk technician, remote desk technician, working for a bunch of pharmaceutical companies back in New Jersey. And I was going between jobs and whatnot, and ended up getting a position with NBA, the league office in Secaucus, New Jersey, to be an in-game technician. Little did I know when I accepted the position what the job entailed or anything around it. And as I got into it, my mind was blown because you're dealing with a fast-paced basketball technology operations while the games are happening live. And as I got more and more involved into it, we had great people, smart people, learned a lot in the process. But that's what attracted me in a way to this hospitality entertainment industry is that you have a high stress, high pressure, but also high reward environment, creating an experience for fans and whatnot. So that's where I kind of got started, being on the creative side, being on the innovative side. Again, the leagues have to constantly evolve themselves to create the fan base, to maintain the fan base, to keep the games exciting. Let it be whatever league, the basketball, hockey, football. And on the league side, learned a lot in the process, and which has kind of shaped my career over the last 10 years in the sports and entertainment industry.
Amazing. Well, take us through a little bit of like what you saw as a change. Even we can start at basketball just because you
Yep.
spent a good amount of time there. Like, did you, first of all, the audience wants to know, like, are certain sports earlier adopters to tech than other sports? And league versus teams a little bit, like how does technology actually come into sport, like the the A level, pro level of sports? Like, and how does it come to you at your desk?
It's funny because now that I have had experience with basketball, hockey, and football, the leagues compete not only to get the viewers and fan base, but in the technology evolution as well, in creating an engaging fan base. So they're always neck to neck. Is when one league is implementing a certain technology or advancing, the other leagues are trying to either mimic or one up each other and whatnot. So that was a good balancing act, is like, hey, we're watching other sports as well. And that's what creates the innovation. And again, the fan base is what's demanding when you want player stats, player tracking, real-time data, how you make the game more engaging and things of that nature. So you're always on that innovative side. So all leagues, in my opinion, are kind of neck to neck when it comes to technology evolution, but they're also trying to create more engagement, create more social media interactions, but at the same time, not lose the value of fan watching the game in the stadiums, in the arenas, because it kind of goes in hand, and the leagues have to make a balancing act on how a fan can enjoy the game in the venue versus at the same time watch it on their 90-inch screen in their own home, right? And it's a balancing act on how we deliver those experiences on both sides of the world.
Interesting. And so, having worked in a bunch of leagues and sports, you've got a lot of peers, maybe, some mentors, mentees that you're able to share and say, oh, what's working here, try it to us. How does that work? Do you rely on your network in that regard of
Oh,
sharing? Yeah.
110%. We wouldn't be anywhere without our peers, our network. We always joke. We built our own network every time I was at a league office. So when I was working at the NBA league office, all the NBA teams, we kind of joke about saying our teams compete on the court, but we collaborate off the court, and we used to do meetings, sessions, brainstorming sessions, how we can do better, but we rely on each other on making things better. As I fast forward into the hockey league, it's the same concept, and now that I'm into the football league, it's a similar concept where our peers are our best advisors, if you will, and then having the senior management that constantly challenge us to look outside, think outside the box, look around the horizon and see what we can do. And every venue is doing some level of innovation and creativity every time a new stadium goes up. We are currently, again, as you mentioned, we are fairly new. We are about 5 years old now. But as new arenas and stadiums are coming up, they're constantly evolving, and how we can stay competitive to ensure that fans are getting the most experience out of the entire setup is how we focus. But again, it's a collaborative, sharing, communicative approach, instead of, hey, this is my little ball, I'm going to go play in my own court. Like, we don't really approach things that way. And I'm very thankful for the support mechanism we have in the industry.
Oh, I'm sure. And now having pretty much not just new stadiums, new expansions. I mean, we're talking Las Vegas as a city, which is the capital of entertainment, but now is the capital of sports, and that's really new. So you're kind of
Absolutely.
getting to be at the ground level of designing the
Yep.
sports technology entertainment experience from scratch. Like, what's that like? Like, take us through when you get
Oh,
a blank slate like that and a magic wand.
yeah, no, it's interesting. Again, in my journey, I moved to Las Vegas back in 2015, part of the construction and opening of T-Mobile Arena, which was one of the first main pro sports arena coming up in Vegas market. Again, an opportunity was to open in a new arena in entertainment capital of the world, and sort of shape the landscape of how Vegas was going to grow into this sports and entertainment capital of the world. And we created lots of experiences between different events and whatnot. The first year, we didn't have the pro sports team assigned to us. It was 2017 when the Golden Knights became official residents of the T-Mobile Arena. And then the first season they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and things of that nature. So it's kind of shaped the landscape of our Vegas city. And then the minor league arenas have come in. We've actually acquired a women's basketball team. Now that we have Allegiant Stadium and the Raiders and the UNLV play football there. So the sports landscape, and in some shape or form, I had a level of involvement in helping the Mandalay Bay Event Center, Michelob Arena now, in ensuring the technologies got implemented the way they needed to because of my prior experiences with the WNBA. Same thing with the hockey arena. The Golden Knights team operate and manage it, and I was kind of helping them and kind of advising in some areas. So I had some engagement there. Same thing with the Allegiant Stadium. So I'm very blessed to be able to be part of the sports and entertainment landscape of Vegas market that I have had the involvement in shaping it. So super thankful and super blessed to be in the right place at the right time, I guess.
Totally. But also then having some of the top technology at your disposal that you get to put in from scratch, not necessarily having to do like after the fact. So
Yep.
I don't know, take us a little bit about like transforming that. Like how do you go about and now be customer, pulled like you talked about,
Yep.
but it's from the design phase to a certain regard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it starts with creating the vision, creating the journey. The two favorite words I live by is reverse engineering, right? When we get engaged, when I first got into T-Mobile Arena during the construction phase, a lot of stuff was already in progress, and we didn't really have a lot of changes that we could make. But post construction, we went into like, hey, what's the end goal? We want the ticketing to work the way it needs to. We need fans to be able to get in, buy food and beverage, the experience elements. What does that look like? And let's design it from technology perspective so it's an enabler, not a blocker or burden in a way. And then fast forward to Allegiant Stadium. I was very blessed to be partnered up with the Raiders ownership, and we created a vision. We executed with the technology as a backbone, and had a business partnership. It was not just, hey, technology is going to do its thing. We aligned our verticals in security, guest experience, ticketing, food and beverage, and built our infrastructure in a way that allowed us to support and manage and meet the expectations of the fans. So it was more reverse engineer. What are we trying to accomplish? How can we make it seamless for folks to be able to get in and enjoy the experience versus be cumbersome on how you even get into the venue, right? So that's been my approach in from design is what's the end goal and how can we make sure the technology is supporting it in any way we can.
Mm. And is there a difference in experience for a hockey game and hockey crowd versus football now that you've been, in some of
Um,
that compare
yeah,
contrast a little bit?
100%. I think Vegas is a unique market. The fan base, we experience a lot of out of towners, visitors. The journey from fan and both sides, if I compare T-Mobile and Allegiant, everyone wants a very seamless, easy experience. They want to be able to get into the venue so that they can enjoy and experience. And the fans, football fans are just more rowdy and more engaging versus hockey. But I think our hockey crowd that we see it, they get more engaging. They're technical savvy. The football side, I see a little bit more tax savvy crowd than the hockey side. But no, the fan base, they all want the same thing. And we actually are taking the crown in the industry is the fan experience and the game presentation experience that what the way we did it at T-Mobile Arena, and it's the top in the hockey league. And the way we do it at Allegiant Stadium, the halftime shows, the pregame shows, things of that nature, it again puts us at the top on the football league side. So fan actually enjoyed that experience in the both side.
Well, and I think you've been rewarded because of that, whether it's being able to host the Super Bowl, right, which is literally the biggest of the biggest
The crown
shows,
jewel. Yep.
or the team doing well and getting in the Stanley Cup itself and getting to host the Stanley Cup because of that's how hockey works, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
whether it's, front office or back office to a certain regard, you've been able to step up, not just being in the pro leagues, but actually being at the top of your game there. Like, what's that like? Is that a whole nother level of pressure to perform when you're, playing in the championships in all areas?
I won't say and again, we couldn't do, yes, it's a lot of pressure. You have to be constantly on your guard, but you couldn't do a lot of these things without your team and things of that nature, right? And in my past experiences, I've done NBA finals, I've done Stanley Cup final, I've done now Super Bowl. So again, being able to draw from experiences in different places, all the plan and prep starts before you, like the minute you get announced, like, hey, we're getting Super Bowl, that's when the clock starts, in my opinion, from technology perspective. If you are 2 months, 3 months out and you're getting ready for the event, it's already too late. And being able to have good partnerships, again, when we were in the first playoff rounds in Golden Knights for the Stanley Cup run, when we met and said, hey, now we're in the playoffs, a lot of folks, Vegas Golden Knights has not gone to playoffs before. This was their first season. A lot of the folks at T-Mobile Arena didn't really have a Stanley Cup hockey finals experience in a way. So it's like, so we actually started prepping for finals more than playoffs, and sort of, again, back to the reverse engineering style, and we partnered up with the league office and say, hey, what are your requirements, what are your mandates, how can we get ahead so we can build this out? We got this 2 month runway or month runway in playoffs. How can we maximize our efforts? Same thing with Super Bowl. We start our conversation a year prior. One of the things that NFL does extremely well, and I'm appreciative, and the good part on the NFL side is you have a venue that you already picked. So with the NBA and the hockey league, you don't really have a choice. Whatever team goes to the finals, that's where you're gonna play. So you can't really proactively plan. For football, you know which venue you're gonna go to. So what football league does is they invite the technology team for the next year to the current year and kind of give an overview and landscape on what the Super Bowl entails. And it's a huge blessing because you get to see the setup, you get to see the involvement. So we went to Arizona where Super Bowl was getting hosted in the previous year. And as soon as I came back, next day, we draft out our plan. We had documentation ready for approvals from our CFO and saying, hey, we need to do infrastructure upgrades. We need to start putting things in parking lots. So we went to work right away saying, this is what it's going to take to do a Super Bowl as seamlessly as we can. And so, yeah, you start doing a lot of this work well in advance, just like in any other technology implementations you would do. Sorry, a long-winded way of saying it,
No,
but
no, it's great. I mean, it's totally true, right? Every year, um, it's totally dependent on how your team's going to do,
yep,
except in football, when regardless of how your team's going to do, you're hosting, right? If you're
yep.
tapped to be on. So it's kind of interesting, kind of the flip around that. So related to that, like take us, maybe use the Super Bowl or other ways, like what are some interesting systems or innovations that kind of go into that, knowing you've got kind of the consistency year in, year out around that?
So from Super Bowl perspective, there are a few. I learned this from one of my mentors in the early on. When you look at any major event back in NBA Finals in my career, control the consistent items, right? Like we know certain things are going to be required, so let's make them best. So when we talked about Super Bowl, we knew that every Super Bowl that's hosted, you break records when it comes to Wi-Fi, when it comes to network, when it comes to bandwidth, when it comes to viewerships, you are going to break records. So we knew that we had a target on our back in a way, or we had a goal saying we got to beat last year's numbers, whatever venue it was previously. So we went into enhancing our digital network footprint from Wi-Fi to bandwidth to uh, fiber infrastructure, so we can manage it appropriately and create a robust experience for the fan. NFL also helps messaging the apps that they put out so that fans can do a journey and what that looks like. So it's a handshake, but we start creating a robust infrastructure because we know that there's going to be a beat down on technology that's going to come. So let's power it up in a way where we can take the beating when we have 75,000 fans coming into the building. We can sustain that beating and set the record. So that's the mindset I brought into the mix, is like, all right, let's enhance our infrastructure so that we can sustain whatever comes our way.
Got it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's some of the largest audiences and crowds, right, on record together. And we know with crowds and a lot of users come, I don't know, cybersecurity endpoint issues or just, right, like
Yes,
vulnerabilities, let's call it,
yes, 100%,
right? How
100%.
do you plan all of that into the protection and cyber piece?
Cyber, that's actually is one of my favorite topics. I'll give you a quick story. When we were in construction phase 2020, and we had a turnover from construction into operations, and we're feeling like really good, and we're like, hey, we're gonna have one of the best technologies, and everything is working the way it is. And then I think it was 2021. Yeah, I think it was 2021 where NFL did a cybersecurity audit on us, and they go through every league, every venue, and it's a standard process. And I'm expecting like great results, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna be great. But when we looked at the results, it was bad. Like it was really bad. Like we, and again, a lot of the construction button up didn't happen. So it was a huge ego crusher. It crushed me in many ways. But then I took the entire audit and I studied it like nobody's business. And started. I mean, you got to fail miserably to succeed at something, right? And that's the story I lived. And as I went through it, it took us good 2 years to get a program in place from a cybersecurity perspective that gives us the robustness that we need today. We had to itemize every vertical, every application, every network in a way and say, hey, how do we make this better? And as we were doing it, I learned two or three things very quickly. Cybersecurity is not a system, it is not a cliche word, it's a culture. You have to live it, breathe it, and not just you. I can be the cybersecurity superhero, if you will, but if my departments, my peers are not living, breathing in the same way, then it doesn't work. You can have systems that will help you secure your posture, but it's also driven by the process. If systems and process don't come together, then you're not going to have a very good solution. So, to answer your question, to get ready for the Super Bowls or any other major event, it's not a day off or month off or whatnot. It's a culture we have embedded into folks, new hires training program, our folks training program. So it's a culture that we live day in, day out instead of, hey, we're just going to make sure that nothing gets hacked. And again, having tabletop exercises and training folks how you can get phished. And we do, a lot of government agencies offer program to test your robustness from your cybersecurity program. And we sort of I let it loose. I'm like, come in here, break us, because there is no better reality check than a third party coming in and try to penetrate your network and things of that nature. And the people that do get victimized, they also learn in the process. So we play a game a little bit of shame as well as training to ensure that it's a cultural thing and we all are going in the same direction when it comes to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is my favorite topic. So sorry, again, long-winded way of saying it, but
No, no, but you're right. And the culture side, like you can't just can't just be a buzzword.
absolutely.
Otherwise, that's every vulnerability is left open there if people aren't vigilant about it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and so it's year round. just like you said, you're planning for events year out and year round. So
Yep.
is there really an off season and during season, or are you just always on like 12 months?
We are always it's like any uh, athlete or anything. Again, it's like if you were to run a marathon, but you just wake up one day and it's like, hey, I'm going to run a marathon today. That's not how it works. You train and train and train and then go run a marathon. It's the same mindset that we have when we do have off season or off time, if you will. We're doing maintenances, we're doing vulnerability patches, we're doing training, we're making sure our defenses and systems are at running top notch. So when it time to event mode or game mode, we are ready to just rock it. Like that's the mindset we do. So yeah, to your point, there is no off season or off time. We are always trying to get ready to ensure that we're setting the benchmark in the industry.
Awesome. Well, I know because of that, you were honored recently at the Las Vegas Top Tech Awards, and congratulations. Well
Thank you, thank
deserved.
you, thank you.
This is I find it unique honoring where, your peers are recognizing each other from technical excellence. What did it mean to
Absolutely.
you? Take me through that a little bit.
Um, Again, I got a little story on the Top Tech Award as well. When I watched Top Tech Awards for last 6 years of my career when we went through T-Mobile Arena. It was hosted and presented there. We would do all the work in the background, the music for the nominees, doing the award presentation ceremony, the lights, the music. We did it on the ice a few times as well. So I used to always watch, and we're working the event, of course. So I used to watch, and I'm like, what would it take for people like us to get recognized and whatnot? And never really found the window. Fast forward, we opened Allegiant Stadium, and the Top Tech Award was hosted at Allegiant Stadium for the last few years as well. And then last year or the year before, when I got nominated, again, super thankful for my peers for nominating me. Um, I thought it was a spam email. When I got the nomination, I'm like, what? And then the entire journey was just unbelievable. Super thankful. They made it super easy from photo shoots to things of that nature, and then actually getting the award. I'll be honest. As the award presentations were happening, a lot of folks had speech written and whatnot, and I'm not expecting anything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to show up. So I didn't have a speech ready and whatnot, but going through the entire process, it was very refreshing and encouraging the journey that people go through. And again, a lot of the times, technology folks are just sitting in the background. We're making sure things are working, things are safe, and having this platform, getting recognition, articles in newspapers and media and things of that nature. It's a very refreshing for the next generation to come or the peers. Is like, hey, okay, this is something now I need to shoot for, and how can I continue to drive that excellent? Not saying nobody else is doing a better job. I think everybody's, I mean, we're also technology people, we are IT people, we are introverts, we like to hide under the rock. And it's like, don't bother me, I don't want to talk to you. And we are antisocial, right? So this is a great platform for the like-minded folks, the like personalities to mingle and be a little comfortable in these situations, right? So it's an amazing experience. Again, hats off to Cox in putting this program together, and yeah, and for the new generations to come, it's a, and the city just keeps growing on the sports and entertainment side. So it was an unbelievable experience.
Yeah. Well, you've worked with Sarah Brown. She doesn't joke around this. That wasn't spam. That was the real deal, and you know that. So,
Thank you.
now you know.
Yep, no, 100%, 100%.
Shout out to Sarah. We love working with her as well too.
Sure.
So let's talk about, broad industry trends. Like what do you see coming as kind of the next in venue tech that you're excited about?
A little scary, to be honest. The reason I say that is the demands keep growing. Again, when we first opened a venue here, a 10 gig internet circuit was plenty. Now 40 gig circuits are not enough, and 100 gig circuits are not enough, and things of that nature. So as you watch the new generation, new landscape of the entire entertainment industry, the content is getting richer. The immersive experiences, the fan presentation, again, Sphere is a great example of how immersive the fans want to be. Like if you just have few scoreboards and people are watching game, you have multiple TVs. People have video walls in their own houses now to watch games and things of that nature, right? So in the technological evolution, how is that fan experience and journey getting shaped, and how are we making it seamless? It's more like how you give a competition to in-home experience, right? The surround sound systems folks have, the stuff that they have on the phones, things of that nature. So that's what we got to compete with. So it's going to get richer. It's going to get more engaging. And then on the other side is the magical or most used word, two-letter words these days is AI. How are we using the AI in creating the fan journey and experience? Like, again, in the new landscape, your face is your ticket, your face is your credit card, your face is your entry to the places, and how you evolve that and implement that at a venue level. And again, when you're looking at it in a small landscape, it works great. But when you do it for 70,000 fans, 65,000 fans, how can technology be abler, but at the same time from the fan engagement perspective? So again, a lot of moving pieces. It's scary, but that's what excites me. It's a daunting task that's ahead of us, and we got to get ready for it. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and I think you kind of said it in a few times. What has been behind the scenes is becoming, front and center to that, that
100%,
expectation of
100%.
24/7 connectivity, right?
Yep.
But now the actual experience of tracking face and everything, does that change your role, you think, going forward then, in terms of how you
100%.
integrate and look for new technology to reverse engineer into the experience?
110%. We are no longer IT. We're no longer technology. We are business and technology leadership. That's the way I see it. And what I mean by that is every vertical, name it, security, finance, guest experience, events management, technology, apps, systems is the driver behind everything, right? So we have to now take a step back saying, I can't look at it from just ones and zeros perspective. It's a business operation and a business decision at the end of the day. A lot of the other departments, and again, I pick on security and a few others, they're also a little bit more technological savvy. People want to build different integrations and whatnot. So now you have to sort of elevate your landscape and how you manage a business as an operation instead of just technology as an operation. So I think I've seen our roles evolve into a business operations instead of just a technology, because it's just one piece of it, but we're not driving the entire organization and its technological culture.
No, but when you reverse engineer the fan experience to feel like you are part of that even more
Yep.
and enhancing not just the experience, but unlocking opportunity to now have the funds to put more into technology and to go out and seek technology from your peers and your partners who are doing it in another league and say, look, this is working there. I know how to integrate it here. That's got to feel really empowering. And so I'm excited for what you are going to lead us to at our next experience here and our next Super Bowl. Hopefully, also, I'm sure will come around pretty quickly since you're one of the newest venues around.
No, 100%. We have the entire deck stacked for the events on upcoming at Allegiant Stadium. We have some, again, I don't even know what the announcements are, but we got final football, college football, Final Four, some fights and things of that nature. So we're gonna set the benchmark in how to execute some insane, crazy events. Again, going through WrestleMania earlier this year, it was an insane experience, and it was phenomenal. Just continuing to set the benchmark, and the other part, which I didn't even we didn't even talk about, but not only we reverse engineer the way I reverse engineer things of that nature, but I also partner up with the leagues, with the promoters, with the clients, so WrestleManias and NFLs, and look at it from their lens, saying what are they expecting and how can I make their journey a lot faster, easier, convenient when they want to come into my building, so that when they want to come back again, they all, oh, Vic is over there. We don't have to worry about it, right? And when I hear those lines, that's a compliment to me and my team. Is like they now feel comfortable in what we have put in place. So understanding it from the other lens on what the partners, what the events, what the clients want, and how we can design it appropriately. It's a feather in our cap from many aspects
That's a
as well.
great point. You're kind of always winning and always on display to show that come back because we can
Yep,
do it. And next time will be even easier if you did it all the work up front too. All the brain
100%.
power there is too. Closing out here, Las Vegas being the city of sin, of entertainment, and now of sport, also city of food. And this being the Tacos and Tech podcast, we got to know, enlighten us. Do you have a go-to favorite spot that you go to for tacos locally?
Yeah, no, I won't say it's a dedicated taco spot, but my favorite go-to place is Casa Don Juan.
Mm.
I love that place. Their tacos are amazing. Their enchiladas are amazing. Their food is just beyond amazing. I love that place. Every time I have either friends or family or clients visiting, I'm like, we're doing lunch or dinner at Casa Don Juan, and the one on the main street. I think it's one of the original ones. They have a few branches now, but I try to like to go to the original one. I love that place. I absolutely love it.
Love it. What's your go-to order there? Do you have like the one thing or you always try new stuff?
I try new different things. Now I'm blanking on it.
All good.
Dang it.
We'll link to it. All good. Don't even worry about it. We'd love to add it to our taco database, which we do keep up,
Absolutely.
and have a visual aspect to it. So we'll put both them in there. The one both on Main Street and on Buffalo Drive, I
Yep.
think. But this is awesome, Vikrant. This is so great to spend some time with you. Thank
Absolutely.
you
Oh, thank
for
you.
leading the way of showing the proper way to enjoy sport in person,
Yep.
and just excited for what we will experience next. So
Um, No, absolutely. And the one thing I always encourage my team, and I do it as well, when we go through difficult or hard, I don't want to say difficult, the hard, long planned event, WrestleManias, Super Bowls, and a lot of effort goes from everyone. I do encourage our teams to go out there. You have worked your butt off on putting this event on, but go out there, enjoy the event for 5 minutes and watch the fans around you. And even saying this, I get goosebumps because just seeing the fan having a moment and having enjoying themselves, there is no better feeling and I try to do that at least a few times in major events that we host, to just go out there and watch the fans having time of their life. It's the best experience, and it feels very, again, you're not getting pat on the back or nobody's congratulating, but you feel so rewarding in creating and experiencing a journey for fans that have saved up their money and they are now coming to your venue to enjoy that experience, and seeing them smile and feel excited excites me. So that's what keeps driving me in many ways.
yeah, it's the super fulfilling. It's kind of your own version of currency of
Absolutely.
of why you're doing it in that regard. To see the customer delighted, that's what we're all after, right? Is solving a bit of a problem in a
Yep.
really elegant solution with some taste behind it,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
Well, congratulate you for doing it on the largest stage. So thanks again, Vikrant. Appreciate it, and all the best.
Thank you.
Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got tacos and tech is on smash. For the green guacamole. Keep accountants counting beans. Contador cuentan frijoles. Founders trying to raise some queso. La vida San Diego. School of rappy, rapping fire. Tortillas round jalapenos. In these modern times of craft beer and coffee. My coding yoga posse. Fold the body, origami. We be surfing Coronado. Eating tacos el gordo. The taco stand in puesto. Lucha libre and sombrero. Gotta shout out Tecos Daniels by the ocean. Watch the sunset. La Jolla Shores. Entrepreneurs trying to get funded. When San Diego Startup Week is popping in the summer. Oceanside to Tijuana. SD be full of hustlers. From couch surfing to penthouses right on the beach. Tech leaders who believe stars are within reach. We interviewing founders who be shooting for the moon. Hashtag SD Techos with your host, Neal Bloom. Come on! Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech. You know we got it. Hey. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. Startups get the party. Startups get the party started. You want tech and tacos, tacos and tech.